guys, today I'll show you how to assemble your IKEA, one of the IKEA furnitures here. This is a nightstand. It's a MALM 001-033.43. I started assembling, but it's a little bit complicated, so I figured maybe just make a video. All right. These were at the bottom of the box, and then as you unpack, there's like stuff on the top, blah blah blah. Just inspect it for quality and damage, because if they were damaged, you can return them. Anyways, we start with the manual here. You need to look at the required tools, and the required tools, you need these two type of screwdrivers, the cross and the negative sign. I forgot what it is. This is Phillips, I think, and the other one, don't know what it's called. And these are the contents here. I think these are the feet, but anyways, and there's here. So inspect the package. It's a relatively heavy, it's not too light. So far I have assembled. I started with these screws here. So you have to look. It says this is the part number that you're supposed to look at, but there is no sticker anywhere that says what it is on either side or the edges or anything like that. So you have to look at the shape of the product. You see the edge here, you see this is the circle, so that is the rotating part. And you have to match it with the picture. So right now, this piece matches this piece. Here are the two things, and the other holes. So if you look, they're pointing at the smaller hole. So that means these things will go into the smaller holes. Okay, cool. So now you start by driving it into the smaller hole. And you can see, I wish I started this earlier, but the smaller hole is actually quite smaller than the actual thread of the screw. So you might think, okay, that must be wrong, maybe it goes in the bigger one, but no, it actually goes into the smaller one. So anyways, put these screws in. Now step 2, these are the feet, I believe, so in each side here, and you can see them. I put these 2 already and this one here. So let's go ahead and put this one, and this one you can see 2 small holes, and you can match the orientation as well of this. So it's the same thing. You see the edge, that's where the feet go. So if you wanted to, you're gonna need a mallet to put this in. So unfortunately my hand is not going to work, so you need to tap it lightly. All the feet are in now, and let's go to the next step. Here it says number 3. So this 3, as you can see, it's like 2 steps combined in 1 step. You have to put these wooded studs into these pieces. Okay, so now what are these pieces? So that means we have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces, and I think we already have them. They should be these ones. Here's 2, and then here's 2, and then if we look at this is where the studded thing is gonna have to go, and it's gonna have to go into the smaller hole, as you can see here, and then you can match it with the picture. So you can see there's a picture here, and then there is these holes. Obviously the bigger hole is gonna go down here, because here we're gonna install these latches. Now these latches, when you insert them here, eventually something is gonna have to go in. So it's gonna have to go in here, and then when you turn in the latch, this thing here, when you turn it on, it'll latch on this thing like that, and then hold it in place. So that's how these things work. But anyways, you can match the picture. And then, okay, so now we have to put the stud in this here. So now you can see this here, and that's why you need a mallet. So now we have this. It's really hard to do with one hand, so you don't want to do it too much. That should be it. And then you have to do it with the rest of the pieces. So let's do that. And you see the top here and the bottom, same story. Do that and one tip, I think you should clean the parts as you assemble them. So I already cleaned these two, and then just wipe these down, you know, with a piece of cloth or something, or a towel that you can wash later. Just be careful of these small pieces coming off, so try not to touch this part. Okay, now that we put the studs on, you can see, you might notice that this wood here is like the son of the black duck, or whatever. I don't know, when we were kids they say that, you know. This is just, it doesn't have a side, so it's just all wood. So that's easy to identify, you know, that makes sense why it's all green here in the picture. So anyways, we have the studs on. Now we need to find out, okay, which one does it go on? It doesn't go on this one, but it goes on that one. So here, we can see this picture here, we're back to this here, and it's that one, which I was initially working on. Again, we're gonna have to drop. Okay, so now which one is which? Looks like the bigger one goes on here, and then the smaller ones, because we have two small ones and we have a big one that have a black side on the outside, so that's gonna be probably visible or something. So we have this here, that's gonna go on here, and you can see it's gonna go this way. So this stud is gonna go inside, and then this is gonna pop into this. So we have to set it this way to make sure that it's in the hole. Now we have to lightly tap it with the mallet for it to go in. Let me tap it better with two hands, okay? So it was just easier to put it on the ground, and if you have like harsh floors or something, maybe you want to put a big towel or something, but this should not scratch it. Anyways, I would recommend a big towel. So let's do the other one. So we have two more. Be careful with this small pieces of wood. I think just one went in right now. Oh God, I can feel it inside the skin. Yeah, that's the problem with this crappy stuff. So this has to go this way, the hole has to go in this, and then the stud right there, and lightly tap it. Right? It's never going to be like fully tight because it's going to connect to multiple other things on the other side. So you can tell now this is going to go on the opposite side to create this side, and then the drawers will be in here. So that gives you like an idea how this is going to look like. This is going to be the bottom piece. There will be a drawer here, a drawer I guess, or something. And then there will be a piece here, and there will be another drawer, and then we'll have the top piece at some point. So anyways, let's go ahead and put the other one where it belongs. here, follow diagram, and then this goes like this way, the opposite way, which in this case, as you can see, this is gonna go this way. Oh, actually no, it's not gonna go this way. So you can see the hole has to be to the outside, towards the foot down here. So here's the ridge. So that means this opening has to go that side. So that means I have to install it this way. That means this way, it goes this way, like that. So now just put it together and tap it in. I'll tap the last one too. And be back. Okay, now that all of them are in, now what we need to do is install these clips, latches, or whatever. The idea here is that you put, if you can see the thing in there, the stud, which was this guy, is poking in. So what you want to do is you want to push this right like that. This part, okay, right like that. So when you rotate it clockwise or righty-tighty, right, it'll latch on it. So install it like this. Need to find, it'll, seems to be like that, as you can see. So here's a little tip. You don't have to tighten these ones right now. What I usually like, or usually in mechanics, like when you fix cars or whatever, sometimes putting the pieces that are connected together loosely and then slowly tightening them is better than when you tighten this and then it doesn't really go into the other one, or it's a little bit crooked and needs to be loosened a little bit, you know, so it can line up with the hole, because you know what I mean, things happen here. It's all machined and it should be accurate, but you never know. This hole could be a little bit bigger or whatever, or the stud is a little crooked, etc., etc. So you can keep it loose, just pop in the caps, and then we'll put this on top, and then we'll tighten everything up. So let's do that. Okay, now that we have the caps all in, they are not tightened, they are just in. This one, you see, they didn't go all the way in. That's okay. They are not tightened yet, they are just in. Do not put the caps here, because if you put the cap here before the stud goes in, it's never gonna go in. It has to go in first, then you put the cap so you can rotate and lock it in place, okay? That's how these things work. So do not put it yet. What we're gonna do is we're gonna drop this on the opposite side so you can see it's a symmetrical thing, right? These will have to match the other way. So this basically, I'm gonna have to pick it up as is, like that, and then like this, and drop it this way, okay? So this edge here should match. The edge over there should be outward, and the feet should be on the same side. So you can see here in the drawing, what we're gonna do next is drop it. You see the feet are on the same direction, and you see the edges are in the opposite direction, like, you know, facing each other. So this way you have symmetry. All right, so now you see now why tightening them up, not tightening them up is a better idea. So now you have the flexibility to actually line them up correctly and start tapping them each and then tightening them up. Just go ahead and line up the wooden studs in the holes on this here, each one, and tap it with a mallet. Then we'll start tightening the we'll put the caps and start tightening them up. Okay, so now that they look to be in place, let's go ahead and pop these caps again, like I showed you earlier. So here's again, this here will have to go, you see the stud, so now we do it this way. Okay, so now when this tightens, it goes and locks the head in place. So you insert it this way, okay, like this. There we go. Now do the rest. Okay, so now that these are all in place, try to tap it again, make sure it's all level. So now as you start tightening things up, we start at the bottom ones, okay? Because remember, we didn't do those ones. We'll start at the bottom ones. And then when you do the top one, just put your weight on each corner as you do it. And I would start at the bottom, this side here, tighten that, tighten that, tighten that, and then tighten it all the way at the end. So let me go ahead and tighten the bottom ones first. All right, so now we tighten the bottom ones, and then I tighten the top ones, and now you can see everything is sitting flush. So that's how it should be. And now you can see this thing is semi-rigid. It's good. So it's held up together nicely. Now once we have the rest of the stuff, it'll hold up like a box. So it'll be good. So let's go ahead and continue with the set of instructions here. These screwdrivers, you can just get them from any, I got these from HEB actually, and the cool thing about them, they're actually magnetized. So there's not bad, huh? Anyways, step 7. So now we need to look at this part. This seems to be, this might be the top piece. Yeah, looks like it. So we're gonna have to put this on its legs. That's this piece here is that bottom one. We can see, and then we're gonna lay this one down. So let's find this piece, and I think it's gonna be that one. It's the biggest one that matches the size. These I'm not sure what we'll use these for, but we'll find out. So if we look at this piece here. Alright, so definitely matches the, I mean, even the part numbers don't really match. It just says 11987, and here it doesn't even tell you what part number. But anyway, this is the only piece, so it's not going to be difficult to locate. So again, you know, it's showing use the small hole. You see there's big hole, small hole. And then this here, you can see the orientation. Look at the notch. The notch is this side. Okay, so we can see this is the notch. And then you can see it's pointing to the small holes. Okay, and you can see the small hole. Here's a small hole, here's the notch, the small hole, and then the small hole is on the outer side. Again, it's on the outer side. And then you can see here, yeah, made in Germany, right here. So each panel that has a sticker, it says made in Germany. It's pretty cool. First, clean up the box, clean up the surface and the bottom one. And then let's put the screws. Okay, now that we have it cleaned up, again, same screws, the small hole, okay? The small hole, not the big hole, even though it feels like, oh, it should be here, but no, it's gonna be in the small hole. You definitely need 2 hands for this so you can get it right. Unfortunately, let me try to start rotating this here by hand so you can see the process. And here's a screwdriver. So you want to definitely be, you don't want this to bounce around like I have it here. So let's make sure that underneath is solid. Slowly start driving the screw. You don't need to make sure it's, I mean, you don't want to put it crooked, but it self-corrects. It self-corrects, and then it reaches at the end a dead stop. So you just want to tighten it up. Not too much, not too little, just enough. Perfect. Do the others per the outline. We'll come back. Right. So now that we're ready to put this on top, now you can see here I put this up on its legs, and it's looking pretty good. It's semi-rigid right now. Anyways, see what it says here. There's the notch and there's the edge, right? That we have on here, and this is supposed to be from the back, right? This is not something you want to look at. You want to look at the finished piece, not the unfinished piece. The unfinished piece usually goes to the back. So you can see here the edges are at the back, the finished pieces are at the front. So it makes sense. So now when we set this up on top, you can see here it says at the top, at the front, you don't want to, you see the front here? I just have it backwards. And you can see, before we able to put this one here, we need to put the wooden studs on this cabinet. And the wooden studs, where do they go? You might wonder. Okay, so let's see where they'll go. Obviously, they're not gonna go here. It's too big for them. So they are gonna go, this is where the metal stud is gonna come. So the stuff we put earlier, it's gonna slide in here so we can lock it up just like the rest of the stuff. So now we have to put this here. You can try to push it with your hand. Start it with your hand, but then I prefer to use the mallet. And gently press it in. And so do the same thing for here. Again, you don't want to touch this hole. And the same for this, gonna be this one. And the same for this is gonna be this one. Okay, now that we have the studs in place, let's go ahead and put this on top of this. All right, I'm gonna try to show you as much as I can with one hand camera, one hand this. So I have it on my arm like a tray, and we're gonna set it. Remember, these holes are gonna be for these studs. So we're gonna set this side, and make sure this other side is lined up. All right, so now this is where you need to line things up. The stud with the hole on the top piece. This phone focus as well. And the same here. And the same over there. So just line them up and start tapping with the mallet on top of this. And use the cleaning cloth. You know, when you type on finished surfaces, use the cleaning cloth or some other cloth, whatever, to tap on this so you don't damage the surface. And that's why you want to use a mallet, because mallet get damaged, but it rarely damages the surface unless used wrong. So anyways, let me go ahead and do that, and we'll be back. Okay, so here's a pro tip for you. When you line them up, okay, when you line them up and you start pushing it in, all right, you line them up and then you slightly tap, like you tap this corner, for example, a little bit, then you go to the next one, tap it a little bit, then you go to the next one, tap it a little bit, next one, tap it a little bit, and so on. You keep going all around until it's fully flat. You don't want to just tap one corner all the way in and then go to the next one. You don't do that, it damages the wood, because this goes in and the surface will not be perpendicular, so it'll be crooked. So the piece actually crooks in, it'll be in, and then when you tap the other one, so it's like you're making the holes bigger, and it's not gonna be solid, you know? You want the whole piece to be solid. Go down, even if it takes you 10 minutes, it doesn't matter, just do it slowly and do it right. Okay, so now you can see it is all the way down. Here, you can see it's all the way down. What you wanna do now is we wanna secure these screws. So that would be the next step, I believe. Yep, same thing. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pop the circular lockers, the latches again. And then on every time you do a corner, you know, you tap it, make sure it's all the way in, then you latch it. You go to the next one, you tap it, latch it, next one, tap it, latch it, so like the whole thing is seated correctly. You can put your weight as well, but tapping also works. So let's go ahead and put these in and tighten it up. Here's an easy way if you like wonder, okay, how do I put this in? Is it this way? Is it that way? Blah, blah, blah. You see that there's an arrow here. So this arrow points up to where the stud is. So you see here, there's the stud here. And then there it is just pointing up. So you can just put it pointing up like this. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you get the idea. You press it all the way in. Make sure you press it all the way in. Same here. I'm gonna do the others. All right. Now that it's all in, these are latched. You can see now the arrow is pointing downward. It was pointing upward, now it's pointing downward, so it's all locked in. All the same orientation. So you can see here, there is no gaps, no lights. So like I told you, you tap it all around, make sure it's in. Then you tap the corner here and hold, put your weight, tighten it, and go to the next one. Do the same thing, tap, tighten it. Same one here, same here. This one here gave me a little bit of a hard time, so I had to tap it a little more, and then I did this side, and then went back and did this side. But I do not see any lights. It's fully in. Before you could see some lighting coming through. So this cover is for the back side, and it's probably this one. It's really hard to tell, but you can see this is bigger than that one, and obviously it's bigger than that one, so this is definitely gonna go. This is for this part. So we're gonna have to lay this one down and then nail it. But before I do this, I'm more interested in doing the drawers first, honestly. Then you can always close this eventually at the end. So it's not a big deal. All right, so here, what do we need? We have two. So this is the face plate, I believe. Yep. So you can see that's this part. It's angled a little bit, and then there's this here. That's where the bottom piece is gonna go, which is that piece, I believe, one of each. And then, before we put the last piece here, we first need to assemble. So we're gonna need to put these, now back to these screws. Again, look at the orientation, there's the notch, there's the angled finish. Again here, the notch, and then okay, they're pointing to this hole and that hole, this hole and that hole. So again, it's the smaller hole of the two. Okay, so let's go ahead and put these metal things, and you get the idea. It's the same exact story again, locking pins, the wood studs, blah blah blah. So anyways, let's go ahead and do that. Clean up the shelf first. All right, now we have the studs here, wooden metal parts done. Let's go ahead and look at this. Now the sides, these are the sides of the drawer, and let me see, looks like there is a big one and a small one. But this is this piece, you can see. So we can confirm by checking how many holes do they have. And you can see there's 2 at the top and 3 here and 2. So there's 2, 3 here and 2. Versus the smaller one. So the smaller one, there are 2 here. I think the smaller one eventually. Oh, I see. This is the This is the back of the. So this would be basically like this. So we'll have to assemble these 2, and then this comes on top through these probably wooden studs. So anyways, let's see how this plays out. So go ahead and clean up each piece here before we install them, and then the wood studs go on the sides themselves and not on the bottom part. So again, you look at this. We're gonna be doing it this way, right? So these will be coming in, will be going in this way. So we have 4 holes. Obviously we're not gonna put the wooden stud here like we saw earlier. It's gonna be put in these holes, Okay, so go ahead and clean them up and put the wood studs. I'll come back. Okay, now you're trying to figure out which is which. We have 4 panels and they're not all the same orientation exactly, but what we can tell here is the holes should be on the outside, not the inside. Okay, so now while this is the tricky part. So now this actually fits here, you know, it'll go in here, it can go in here, and these line up just fine. But as you can see, the holes are on the inside, while the diagram, the holes are on the outside. Another telltale is you can see here, okay, now this has to be on the inside, not the outside. So anyways, go ahead and insert one here, and then get another one and insert it to be the opposite. Another telltale as well, you can see this edge is rounded while this edge is flat. The flat edge is at the bottom of the drawer. So where's the drawer? This is the drawer, this is the front of the drawer, and you can see this is where you're going to be pulling it out from, right? You're going to be pulling it this way. So the rounded edges should be on the top, not the bottom. The round edge should be with the front of the top of the drawer. That's another way you can tell. All right, so now we have one side in. You see the hole on the outside. Again, tap it in place. Same idea, tap it in place. Okay, now we have to find the other side. Now they seem to look alike, but they are different again. We have to find the same one that fits the criteria. Rounded side up, holes to the outside. They should line up, you know. They should line up like this. So now we can insert it. And that's the tricky part. It's tricky with one hand, but when you have both hands and eyes engaged, okay, here we go. So this goes in, and you can see you line up the holes, and then tap it slowly in the middle, so it starts going down. Okay, now that's these two things are in place. Now what's next? We're not going to be able to put this one right away right now, the cover. What we need to do is we need to slide the bottom. So if you look at the picture, this here slides down. So there's going to be one of these. Let's use that one. Let's go ahead and clean it up. All right, slide it up. So we can see this piece here, and each piece has 2 different faces. Which one does it go up? This one, you don't want this side on the drawer. It's a little, even though it's soft to the touch, it's not soft for the clothes. So you can see this is a microfiber here. You can see it's totally stuck to it. So it'll probably ruin your clothes, see? Not even falling down. So the side, the finished side is always up. The finished side is where you want to put your clothes on. So this, I'll have to slide this here, and you can see it's in the, like that. The next step would be definitely to put the back cover. So, as expected. All right, so let's install this part here. This one is a little bit tricky. What you want to do, you want to start with this part first. So start in one corner, install the notch, and then you want to lay it down. You can push this out a little bit, that's okay, and then make sure it sits all the way through. So now you have this like that, so, and then you can bring it up, all the way up. Anyways, now this problem here is this keeps wobbling about. So let's go ahead and they advise to install these first, the caps, the ratchets, or the this latches like we did in other places. But I'm gonna keep them to the end until I install these. And these ones are a little annoying. So we have these plastic attachments. As you can see, they go in here, so theoretically it should be lined up, but you can install your screwdriver and inserted in, so now we know it's lined up for sure. And then start inserting this. It's gonna wobble about, so you wanna be steady. While you're pressing, go ahead and remove this here. To the other side. It's really flimsy, but it's a crappy design. So let's insert this here. All right, so you can see it's still wobbly. It's okay for now. Let's go ahead and insert this part. This comes out, it's okay because you can, it's basically slides here and there. Go ahead and tap this here. And let's go ahead and all the way in. Now we have here, you can see it's lined up well. So let's go ahead and close these parts. The usual, this points towards the screw, and this stays flush with the surface, looks like. And you can see it's the same color as well. So you can go ahead and make sure this is going in. There is no okay, let's do that. Oops. Nope. Sure, all the way in. Alrighty, tighty. Alright, make sure it's all tight, there, here and there. Once we install these rails have sort of a catch, so they'll keep this in place. So let's go ahead and do that. Install the rails. And they use a small, short, 3 on each side. So the way this works, if you look at the diagram, this wheel is to the outside, and this is where this is the bottom of the drawer. That's the top, that's the bottom. So this here has to be here, as you can see. So once we put the screws, this here will hold the edge from coming off. So let's go ahead and install the screws. The good thing is this is magnetized, so Just make sure put this in place. Hold it tight as much as you can. You want to push against up like that so there is no gap at the bottom. Not too tight and not too loose. Okay, so now you can see on this side, it's held up nicely. Now we can do this side. Again, push as much as you can in and up, like in and up, so this be as tight as possible to the body of the drawer. Okay, now we have a stopper. These two plastic pieces here. These here, they go on each end here. So that's when it closes, it doesn't hit wood on wood. It'll act like a stopper. Same on the other side. Alright, so now this drawer is complete, as you can see. And the whole thing's nicely. So now we can install it. Already done one drawer. And then we can install this here, you know. You need to slide the wheels on top. Let me show you from here. These here wheels, but then these wheels go on top. Then it's a little too tight. Same thing on the other side. There we go. Now we have two drawers. Now all that's left is install the back. So this here is the same both sides. This comes here at the back, and you nail it down with the provided nails. It should be super simple. So let's go ahead and try. I don't have a hammer apparently. So what you want to look, here, release a little bit, is how much wood we have so we can accurately hit it in the right spot. There's not much. So it's, you want to go straight in. There's one. There's a few more to go, but you get the idea. Just you know, tap these around, and according to the picture or the diagram, there is no set stone. Just put them around. You can put as much as you want. You don't have to put all of them. You can put just basically one here, one here, one here, one here, and then one here, one here, one here, one here, one here, and that's it. You don't have to install all of them. And that's it for this one. See you in the next video.